This video will cover how to find the surface area of a composite shape, meaning a 3D shape that's made up of more than one prism. Here I have a triangular prism that is stacked on top of a rectangular prism. And the first thing I need to do is figure out how many surfaces are there in this picture or in this shape so that I can determine which area equations I'm going to use in order to solve. Starting from the bottom and working my way up, I know that the exposed surface, so the outside surface, surface number 1 is going to be the bottom of this prism. So I'm going to call this number 1. The bottom of this shape is also a rectangle, and so the equation I'm going to use is the area for a rectangle. Then I have two sides, number 2 here and number 3 here. These two are going to be the same. Then I have the front of this rectangle. I'm going to call this surface number 4. And I also have the back, which is going to be the same numbers as the front, same size. Then as I move my way up, there are these two little pieces here and here. I'm going to call this the top of my rectangular prism. So I'm going to number these 6, and this one's going to be number 7. I forgot to label this one a 5. And then as we get to the triangle, I have the front of the triangle. Let's call that number 8. And then I have the back of the triangle. I'm going to call that number 9. And then I have the sides of the triangle. Left side is going to be number 10. And the right side is going to be number 11. So all the different parts of this shape, starting from the bottom, going all the way around to the top, there are going to be 11 surfaces. And if I look at the individual areas, what kind of equations do I need to know? Well, looking at the bottom shape, areas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are all rectangles. So I'm going to need to know the area of a rectangle, which is length times width. Moving to the top, I have a triangle facing forward right here, and I have a triangle on the back. So I definitely need to know the area of a triangle, which we know is 1/2 base times height. And the sides of the rectangle, the sides of the triangle are the shape of a rectangle, which we already know is length times width. So these are the two equations I need to know in order to solve for the surface area. I'm going to find all the areas and put them together. The next thing I need to check is to make sure that I have all the lengths I need. So again, the area of a rectangle is length times width, and the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So for each of the shapes, I need to make sure that I have a length and a width, and I have a base and a height. So starting on the bottom, we said surface number 1, I need to know the length and the width. In this case, I have the length is 16 and the width is 4 for the bottom, so I'm good there. For the sides, I need to know the length. In this case, it'll be a 4, and the width, which is a 6. So areas 2 and 3, I know what the area is going to be, or at least I can figure it out. For the tops, There's two ways that I can find these little triangles here. Now you'll notice that for surface area, I don't want the part that is covered by the triangle. I don't want this part. I only want the white area, not the green area. So what I can do is, taking a look here, the top of this rectangle is the same as the bottom, minus the bit that's covered by the triangle. So I could say the length, 16, times the width, which is 4, and then I could minus the green rectangle, which is 12 and 4. So if I minus those two, I'm going to get the extra bit on the outside. And since I know all those numbers, area 4 and 5, I can figure that out. So we're good there. Then I look at my triangle, and it says here that the height of my triangle, so this part here, is 9. And I know that the base of my triangle is 12. So I have my base and my height. So areas 6 and 7 are good. Oh, I think I missed the front and back of my rectangle here. If I look at the front of my rectangle, my height, or you can call that the width, and the base or the length of this rectangle, I know that this is a 6 and this is a 16, so I can find the front and the back. So area 9 and 8, I know those numbers. So far I have all the numbers that I need. The problem starts when I look at this rectangle here, because I know that the width of this rectangle is a 4, right? It's the same as this number here. So this is a 4, or 4 feet. What I don't know is, what is this slanted side of my triangle? I know that the height of my triangle is 9, but that is this part here. That is the vertical. It is not the slanted part of my triangle. I need to find the slanted part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this part of my triangle on my piece of paper, like this. And so I know that the vertical part is 9, or 9 feet. And if you take a look, I cut this triangle in half here. So if all of this is 12, that means just this piece here is going to be a 6. And I want to know, what is this length here? Now, because we have a vertical line and a horizontal line, this is 90 degrees, which means I can use the Pythagorean theorem to find my longest side, which says that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So this is going to be my a, this is going to be my b, and I need to find what is c. So I can say 9 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared. I don't know what that is. If I put them together, this is going to give me 81 plus 36 equals c squared, which is 117, which is c squared. So just c by itself is the square root of 117, which is approximately 10.8 feet. So that is the length of my unknown rectangle here. That's the piece that I was missing. So my width is 4 and my length is 10.8 feet. Now I have all the measurements I need in order to calculate my total surface area. So I'm going to make a list of all the different parts. So focusing on the bottom shape first, the bottom of my rectangle is going to be 16 times 4. The front of my rectangle is 16 times 6, so that's this one here. Now, because the back is the same size as the front, whatever number I get here, I'm going to multiply it by 2 because I have a front and a back. For the sides, this part here, my area is going to be 4 times 6. And whatever number I get, again, I'm going to multiply it by 2 because there's a left side and a right side on the over there. And for the top, we said we're going to take the big rectangle, 16 times 4, and we're going to minus the green part because it covers that part. And I don't want the part that's covered. I want the part that's exposed. So I'm going to minus 12 times 4. And that's going to give me the area for the top. So let me grab my calculator and I'm going to find all these numbers. So using my calculator, these are the areas of the bottom part of this shape. And now I'm going to make a list of the top shapes that I need to do. On the top, I have a triangle that's on the front and a triangle that is on the back. So I need to do my base times height divided by 2. That is going to give me the area of the front. But again, I need to multiply this by 2 because I have a front and a back. I've got 2 triangles. Then for the sides, so the triangles are going to be here, front and the back. And then for my sides, this is the part that I want. I've got a left side and a right side. There's 2 of them and they're going to be the same. And because of the shape of the rectangle, we're going to use length times width, but we're going to use the length that we found before. That 10.8 is going to be that length. And the width is going to be 4. So that's going to be the left side. And then I'm going to multiply this by 2 because there's a left side and a right side. And they are the same. So again, I'm going to grab my calculator and put these numbers in. Before I calculate the total, I'm just going to double check that I counted all my surfaces. The bottom, that was 1. The front and the back, that was number 2 and 3. The sides was areas 4 and 5. The top was area 6 and 7, those little rectangles on the top. The front and back triangle was 8 and 9. And then we have the sides of my triangle, left side, right side, 10 and 11. So I was able to find the areas of all 11 parts of this shape. So my final answer, my total surface area for this shape is going to be the sum of all these numbers. So I'm just going to add these guys together. So my final answer is that the surface area is 514.4 feet squared. And that is how you find the area of a 3D composite shape.